What's going on, y'all? This is Mike with Kingdom Life, back here on this beautiful Sunday here. Gonna do another video with y'all guys, talking about when Jesus was here on the earth and he was talking with his disciples about how we should enter the kingdom of God. Okay, how we supposed to be like children entering the kingdom of God. So I want to kind of just talk on a quick video on that and breaking that down because it's so important. So like I said, this is when Jesus was here on earth with his disciples, and I'm reading from Matthew, the 18th chapter. Okay, and we're gonna start with verse 1. Okay, so it says, and I'm in the New International Version. At that time, the disciples came to Jesus and asked, "Who then is the greatest in the kingdom of heaven?" So the disciples asking Jesus, like, who will be the greatest in the kingdom of heaven as far as us as children? So Jesus, it says, he called a little child to him and placed the child among them. And he said, "Truly I tell you, unless you change and become like little children, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven." So what is that saying? What does that mean? Okay, well, let's look at a child. When we look at a child, or even when we was children, right, what he's saying is a child is totally dependent on the guardian, whoever taking care of them. They're totally dependent. That's for the mother. The baby's in her womb, right inside of her. The baby is totally dependent on her feeding herself, so she can eat. So the baby can eat, the child can eat. So then when the child is born, guess what? It's still dependent on whoever they're supposed to take care of them. So, and the child doesn't ask no questions about how you taking care of me. Can you take care of me? You sure you can take care of me? They just totally dependent. See, what happens with us, we become an adult when it comes to God, and we don't be dependent on him no more. We then become independent. And when we become independent, that means you don't depend on Lord, who is the owner, to come and help you in your situations. We only want to call to him when we're in trouble. Now you want to be dependent. No, God said, no, you've been living independent all along. Now you want to be dependent when you're in trouble? We're supposed to be dependent our whole entire lives before the Lord, because the word Lord means owner. So he owns you, your house, your car, your bills, the job you at, the boss. He owns everybody. He owns everything. So you have to totally understand this when he says, come like a child. A child is totally dependent. Just like my daughter, she's 4 years old, right? We go in the store, she just puts stuff in the buggy. She don't sit there and ask me, say, "Daddy, can you afford this? Is this gonna be too much?" She's not rationalizing nothing. She said, "Hey, I don't know how he gonna do it, but I know he can do it." That's what a child is. That's what God says. Jesus said, "Come like a child." That's the only way you get to enter the kingdom of God. See, the kingdom of God is an experience of great things. But if you come in it with your independent mentality, you won't even enter it. And you can be saved. You can be running around speaking in tongues, doing all these things, and you'll never enter the kingdom of God because you never came like a child. See? So understanding that entering the kingdom of God is coming into a certain experience, a heavenly experience, where there's all kind of great things and attaching to it. Don't we all want to experience that, right? So the only way to experience that, you have to come like a child and stay one when it comes before the Lord. So they're like, for example, let's say if I want a jet, like a real jet, right? Put a picture of it, put it on your refrigerator. Every morning you wake up, "Lord, thank you for the jet." Now you don't have it yet in front of you physically, right? But you come into the owner. You come into God himself and saying, "Thank you for the jet, Lord," every morning. And now it may take a whole year of you doing it every morning, even though you don't see it physically. But you saying, "I don't know how he gonna do it, but thank you for it. I'm looking at this picture on the refrigerator of it. Thank you for the jet, God. Every morning, thank you for the jet, Lord. I still don't see it yet physically. Thank you for the jet, Lord. See, that's coming like a child before your Father. That's us coming like a child before God Himself. So that's the kind of attitude we need to have when dealing with things of, oh man, my mortgage, I'm 2 months behind my mortgage, or I'm behind on my car payments. But see, we get so independent and we try to do things our way, and we don't depend on the Lord Himself, which I said the word Lord means owner. So we don't come like a child. We thinking too independently. See, and that's our problem. We became an adult instead of stayed a child. That doesn't mean be irresponsible. It's an attitude of saying, you know what, Lord, I'm not, if you tell me to turn right, if you tell me to go this way, if you tell me to stop doing this, right, then I'm just going to stop. I'm not going to question you. I'm not going to say, can I do it next week? Can I go half right? I know you say go right, but can I go halfway? See, that's what we do. We rationalize because we're looking through our own eyes and thinking we smarter than God Himself, and He created your brain in your head. So what kind of audacity we got to question and to rationalize what He say? So if His promises in this Bible, right? This Bible here, the Constitution, His promises are in here. So if He promised something, it's already done. Now it's on us on how we believe and how we interpret that, what He already promised. That's why you don't see the things that happen in your life from this book right here, which is the Bible. Because it's something that we are doing, you are doing, that's not lined up right. Some way you're not believing in something right. It's not God. It's not Him. You got to understand, if you believe in God, right? So you should need to understand what I'm saying. So He's the creator. He is God. God is not a name. The word God means self-efficient. That's what the word God means. Look it up. God means self-efficient, self-sustaining. See, God don't need nobody to keep Him alive. No person created Him. He is the self-efficient one. You understand? We need oxygen, which He created for us to exist on this planet. Without oxygen, we die like this instantly. If God shuts the oxygen down in the whole planet, all of us dies. So guess what? We are not self-efficient. We are not self-sustaining. That's why we are not God. Okay, so if you believe in God and say you do, you believe in Jesus and all this, right? So when the word Lord, like I keep saying over and over, means owner. Let that get in your brain. Let that get in your heart, in your self-conscious mind. Let that soak in your soul. The word Lord means owner. Owner means He owns everything, including you. So if He says do this and do that, why are you questioning and asking questions about it? Now, you're trying to understand something, that's one thing. But asking questions of like, well, God, you said love your enemies, but you don't understand how that person treating me. See, that's what we do. We rationalize what He's saying in the Bible. Then He said, okay, well, you're not going to get the blessing that's attached when you love your enemy. See, that's what we missing. We not being like a child. See, a child doesn't question. They just say, okay, you say do this. They're just going to run over there and do it. Simple as that. It's just like children with Christmas time, right? When Christmas time coming, they give you a list. I want this, I want that, I want this. They're not thinking about how you're going to get it, how many hours of work you got to put in, or where you got to get the money from. They're not asking you, Mom and Daddy, Granny, you know, how y'all going to pay for this stuff that I want? They don't ask you those questions. But yet we question God when it comes to the same things in our life. Why? Because we thinking too independently, and we not being dependent on Him. We don't fully trust God like you think you do. And that goes for all of us. So we need to work on that, being fully dependent on God. If you say you love him, say you believe in him, that he can do anything for you, then fully depend on him. Just like with my daughter the other day, she was on top of she could be on top of a table, and I could be standing away from the table, and I said, jump. Know what she know what she did? Run from one end, run to the other side, and just jump. Why? She's fully trusting that I'm a catcher. She ain't questioning it. Can you do it? Should I not run as fast? Should I run a little bit softer so it won't be that big of a jump for you to catch me? No, she just fully ran, laughing at everything, and just jumped. Fully dependent on me to catch her. Not doubting at all. And that's how we're supposed to be with God. And with everything he says in the Bible, we're supposed to be fully dependent on what he says. Fully trusting in what he says. And then it will happen. And not you thinking about how long it's going to be. How long am I supposed to trust him till it comes? See, that's not being fully trusting on something. You're not asking questions about how long it's going to take. Because it may be 3 months. It may be 2 days. It may be a year. He's owner. And not for you to try to figure that part out. You just trust. That's it. That's all we're supposed to do. Be like a child. That's why he said, if you don't come like a child, you will never enter the kingdom of heaven. It's Jesus saying these words. You will never enter. He ain't saying you may not enter. He said you will never enter the kingdom of heaven if you don't come like a child. But I wanted just to touch on that today because I just thought that was some crucial words of like where I know how we are in our lives day to day and how we get so independent, right? And then we only want to get dependent when something bad going on in our life. And then you want to look up to heaven for God to help. Then you want to pray. But God is not stupid. He knows everything you thinking inside. So you can't trick him. You can't fool him. Can't use words to think you're going to like woo him some kind of way. He's owner. He created you. I just think what it is, we don't have no kind of reverence for God. We don't have no fear of him. We're not afraid of God. That's our problem. We're not afraid of him. And you should be afraid of him. In a sense of, man, he made me. He created the oxygen that I'm breathing. He created the planet that I'm on. He created the house that I live in. But see, we don't have that kind of respect. We don't. That's why we feel like we live so independently. But he can cut off your air just like that. But you think you so independent. But anyway, hopefully that's something that y'all take and meditate on, because you really need to check ourselves. We need to check ourselves for real. Okay? And when we do check ourselves and realize where you've been lacking at in that area, then you'll see some great things start to happen to you in those areas that you need help in. So hopefully y'all guys take that and let that soak inside of your soul and let that root back up and grow back up inside of your soul. Okay? And become a solid foundation for the way that we live in this life, the way that we maneuver in our thinking. Okay? Because it's a lifestyle. This kingdom thing is a lifestyle. It ain't no one day in, one day out thing. This is a lifestyle. Okay? But anyway, hopefully y'all guys stay encouraged, stay prayed up, stay praying, guys. We have to pray. We have to stay connected to our source, which is God. Stay connected. And until next time, I see y'all guys again. This is Mike with Kingdom Life. Y'all guys take care.